to the first monthly update for the Toasty Hen. Sorry, it is a little overcast today, so I have my blinds closed and I have a different light on, but let's not worry about that. Today we are going to be going over my huge pile next to me here. Little sneak peek, it's quite large, of sewing projects that I worked on in January and finished, a few knitting projects that I worked on, and a couple of things I finally finished, and the books that I read. We'll do a quick reading update, and I also will show a couple projects that I plan on casting on, or at least the plans I have to hopefully cast on a couple new projects in the month of February. So let's get into it. I think we will start with the sewing update because that is the largest pile right next to me. So I finished, I thought there are 3 total. 2 of these drawstring bags with a Star Wars print on each of them. These actually got started in probably spring of 2023, and I was gonna do a May the 4th collection with these and launch them, and I never did because life got busy and then it was too late to do for May. So I have 2 of my zipper style project bags and 2 with the stained glass in my drawstring style. So these will all be going up on my Etsy site by the time that this video is published. So yeah, these are the Can Do Crafts drawstring bag. I love these personally as my project bag. This is the large size, but they do have pockets inside. So the way I sew them, I put 2 pockets on one side and I put 3 pockets on the other side. And they have the nice, I use a faux vinyl or a vinyl faux leather for the bottom. And then they have a drawstring cord and a nice little carry handle. So this size really nicely fits like hats. I have tanks, smaller sweaters. I've put sweaters in here, shawls. Obviously socks will fit in here nicely. I love these project bags. I need to make myself a new one because mine has a perpetual project living in it right now. So I finished the 2 Star Wars bags. I finished this pretty floral, and this one has a black and white interior. So same thing with the pockets. All of these bags are the same. They also have my cute little Toasty Hen tags. So anyway, I finished the floral, the 2 Star Wars in this print, and this is the medium size that I finished in the shark, and then it's got blue and gray inside, and then kind of this mermaid scale for the lining or the drawstring pouch. So this is the medium and this is the large. Okay, I went and grabbed a small. So this is the small next to the medium. So there's a small and a medium, and then this is the large. So normally I only make the small and the large. I don't know. I think I might add the medium to my lineup. So anyway, drawstring bags, those got done. Oh, this should have been in my Finish Your Frog video. I filmed a Finish Your Frog video, so this might be a bonus. We'll get into this when we get to the knitting section. Back to the bags. So I also made 2 of these zipper bags, and then this one has like the galaxy lining. So these fabrics, unfortunately, I cannot get anymore. They were from Geek Garden Fabrics, and they recently closed. I would say up to that point, like a lot of my fabric came from them. So I'm very sad about that. But these are my project bags. That's what I actually have one of my knitting whips in right now. But this one's a Firefly print. All right, that's it for the bags so far. Oh, sorry, there's 2 more. I also, in that same box, found 2 of these sunshine, they're supposed to be crossbody bags, but I did not add crossbody straps. So it's just like a little purse. It's got a interior zipper pocket, an exterior zipper pocket. This one I did a fun like stripe or pinstripe kind of lining with polka dots. And then I also had cut this one out, and this one's got the purple zipper, and this one has a black and white interior. It's also really cool because this faux vinyl here, I'll see if I can find the video from when I had this before. It actually is a sun reactive, which if it was sunny outside, I'd show you right now. But it has a sun and it reveals the Marauder map. So that's really cool about these. These will both also go up on my site. This one though, as I was turning it, the zipper popped off the pocket here. And as hard as I tried to get it back on, I couldn't get it without taking the entire bag apart. So I will be listing this one at a discount. The interior pocket is still fully functional. You just can't zip it closed. So it functions kind of like a slip pocket with the zipper teeth. So this one will be going up at a slight discount on my site. All right, a couple more things in the spirit of finishing things that were in that box. These little drawstring pouches were totally done, minus the drawstring. Now they have drawstrings. So these were just like scraps from something else. They're just like a simple little drawstring bag. You can use them for gifts, for like a little tiny project, just our trinkets. I don't know. You can never have too many bags. So yeah, the two stained glass with the Firefly characters. Anyway, I thought these were kind of fun. So these little drawstring bags also will be going up by the time that this video is posted. So keep an eye out for those. All right. One of them is in a bowl cozy. This was actually for an Etsy order. So I made a few extras, so the extras are available. But they have the chainmail print and the D20s. So that one's kind of fun. I love bowl cozies. I have probably made hundreds of them at this point. If you want a tutorial on how I make my bowl cozies, let me know. But yeah, love these bowl cozies. This one, as soon as I'm done filming, will get packed up and mailed off to its new home. All right, except for the sewing. I don't know why I had the idea. I really wanted a heart Valentine bag. Don't ask me why, I don't know. So I threw this one together. I used a bunch of my red and white scraps and I looked up a heart quilt block, and then you can kind of see in my quilting, hopefully, I just kind of did some free motion meandering hearts, and then I made some half square triangle pinwheel blocks, and then it wasn't quite the size that I wanted, and I knew I was going to lose some on the bottom when I boxed it, so then I added along the top and the bottom and the sides, I added a little bit extra. However, I did not math this properly when I cut the bottom, and when I boxed the corners, I took off way too much. I think I took off 3 inches when I normally do for a bag this size. I normally box my corners at 2.5. So you can see that is quite a difference. And the bottom of the hearts on the bottom kind of got lost. But I still am going to use this bag, and I added a red strap to it. I made this, and I did film as I was going. So if I get the brain space for it, I will post a little mini tutorial of how I made this bag. So I'm actually gonna put one of my upcoming whips in there, so that's gonna go over there for now. And then finally in the sewing category, this is what I was actually after in the box where I found all of these other bags, was this quilt. When I was in high school, I tried to find pictures, and if I find them, I'll put one up too. When I was in high school, when I graduated, I got a bunch of fat quarters, and I put them out on the table as part of my open house decoration with some vintage books and some flowers, and I had the intention of making them into a quilt. Now, that was over 10 years ago now, and I took a 4-H sewing class, and I learned how to make a disappearing 9 patch, and I sewed them into a quilt top somewhere around 2020 when I was home and looking for projects. I sandwiched it with this backing fabric, which is a like floral rose print. I sandwiched it with the batting, the backing, the quilt top, and there it sat. and then it got folded and moved twice. And now I pulled it out, and the other day, or a week or so ago, I quilted it. So now it is done. It has been washed, so it's all crinkly, which I love. I just did some like zigzaggy, or not zigzag, some just like wavy lines back and forth, and then I did a scrappy floral binding on this. Anyway, it's like this little throw size blanket put on the floor. It might actually, I think this is gonna go in my daughter's room because it matches, the binding is left over from the rug that I made for her room. So yeah, we have another throw quilt all done. Also, we'll put up here, I worked on my peppermint twirl quilt. I am ready to start piecing the blocks for that, and I have the sashings done and ready to assemble. So I'm going to go through and sew all the blocks together, add the sashings, and then I can start assembling my quilt top. So I'm making slow progress on that. And then on my cutting table and next to my sewing machine right now, I didn't even count. I have many more project bags that are my large size and my small size, to restock my site and to restock the local yarn store where I do consignment. So for reading updates, I read 8 books. I'll put that graphic up here. I read 8 books in the month of January. Technically, I finished 9. I did read Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. I technically finished that in January, but I finished it like January 1st or 2nd, and I read the bulk of that. The bulk. Like, that's a long book. I read most of that in December, so I did count that for December. It's fine. I can do it. It's my reading chart. I can do what I want. Anyway, so I read 8 books. Dungeons and Drama. I read that as an audio. Where the Library Hides. I finished Assistant to the Villain. I was like 75% of the way through it for most of 2024. I don't know what happened. I lost interest in the last quarter. So I decided, what the heck, I'm 3/4 through it. Let's finish it. Winter of the Witch by Katherine Arden. That one was a library book that I had borrowed. And it took me, like, I started reading it in like September, October. And it took me until January to be able to get the library hold back. So I did finish that in January. Again, I was like 3/4 through, and I kept trying to put it on hold and was not available. Anyway, of course, I read Onyx Storm like the week it came out. I was shocked that, because okay, I'm not sponsored by them, but here's a plug for Libby. I use Libby for like 90% of my reading, because like that's where I get my audiobooks. And being a mom and a crafter, audiobooks are my go-to. So I use Libby for like all of that. And Onyx Storm was available like the day after release. So of course I got it. Anyway, I read Spectacular by Stephanie Garber, her little novella. My sister and I were talking about it. I thought it was set between Legendary and Finale, but she said it's after Finale. So I'm not sure, but I read that. The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary Pearson, and The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This year I do plan on reading more Robin Hobb books. So I started, a lot of people said to start with the Assassin's Apprentice and go from there. I do not have the next book in the series quite yet, but I'm excited to start that. I will also put up this graph. I love using Storygraph because I can pull fun charts like this, because I don't know, I just like to see the breakdown of what I'm reading. So my goal for the year for books is what it usually is. My goal is usually 52 books a year, which averages out to be 1 book a week. Some weeks I read like 3 or 4 books. Some weeks I don't read any, or I don't finish any, I mean. Anyway, my first book of 2025 was Dungeons and Drama. My middle book, which I'm not really sure, because there's the calendar feature, but I'm too lazy to go in and log like every single day. This is what I read for X amount of minutes. I don't do that. So I read The Courting of Bristol Keats kind of in the middle of the month. And the last book that I finished in January was The Assassin's Apprentice. 8 books for a total of 3,171 pages. So my page goal, I think I set it at 25,000 pages this year. Last year I set it at 30,000, and despite reading the entirety of the Stormlight Archive, I think I still was at 28,000. So I set it at 25 and 52 books because I do read some heavier fantasy books. This year my average page length was 394 pages, and my average time to finish was 60 days. Now, the 60 days got thrown off significantly because I read, I finished 2 books that I started farther back in 2024. Mostly fantasy, some contemporary, mostly fantasy. Some romance in there, 100% fiction. I don't log my nonfiction books. I don't want that to be skewed. My pages read spiked in the middle, kind of taper off a little bit, and then spiked again at the end. 63% was audio, 25% was digital, and 13% was print. I am currently reading a few books. Let me see. I don't know if I have Storygraph on my iPad. I'm currently reading Cursed by Marissa Meyer. I'm reading Nightshade by Autumn Woods. And all right, I think next we're gonna get into a couple of knitting projects that I worked on. It is an abysmally small list. I haven't really done a whole lot of knitting. I've tried. I just don't get a ton of time right now. So in this shark bag that I pulled out, I have a lonely sock, and I haven't decided if I want to finish the sock or frog it. When I tried it on, it did have a good fit. However, when I did, no, it was a different sock. Oh, I have another one that missed I did a finish or frog video that I will be posting soon. And I just realized there are 2 lonely single socks that did not make it into that video. And I can't get to one of them right now because it's in my coffee table where my tripod is standing on, and I just can't get to it. Anyway, beside the point. So this one, I kind of just followed a vanilla sock pattern, and then I took some scraps, and you can see there I did some like alternating stitches, and then I used this black and white for the heel turn and the cuff. The problem is that I made the one and I never made the other one. I have all my yarn scraps sitting here, but I think I wasn't sure if I was gonna have enough yarn to finish the second sock and have it match. And if I remember right, I'm gonna try it on real quick. I don't think it fit. I didn't like the fit of it, and that, yeah, I'm putting it on right now. Like, the heel turn, because of the color work here, ended up being too small. So I think I might actually frog this and redo it with a different pattern or something. And for the non-knitters who are watching this, frogging just means ripping out. So, and this was, I believe this was, yeah, I liked doing my socks top down. So I don't know if I can salvage this. I think I'm gonna rip this out and repurpose the yarn for a different pair of socks. And I'll probably add another color to that. So I'm gonna add that to my frog pile. Anyway, I think in a previous video I showed this scarf, or this shawl. The ends are woven in, it was blocked. So this got done. So I can put this in my shawl basket, and this is ready to wear. This is the Rappuccino by Becca Anderson Designs. I will link my Ravelry project page where you can check out the projects that I'm talking about. And then I used some Ba La Jolla yarn, and you can kind of see some of that texture in there. And then I'm excited to start wearing this, like this, now that it's gonna be springtime. This is a nice lightweight little shawl to throw on. So I'm excited to wear this. The other thing that has been done for over a year that also got ends woven in and blocked in January was my whatever sweater. So this is made up of a ton of scraps. I use like all of my fingering weight scraps. I think there's also a couple DK in here. But I just held the yarn double, and I think I'm gonna knit it on a 7mm needle. But the whatever sweater basically just gives you a base formula and some like estimated sizes, and you knit it as a raglan. So you increase in your corners, you then split for your sleeves, you work your body till whatever you prefer, you work your sleeves till whatever length you prefer with a few decreases in there, and there you go. So I love the marled effect of this sweater. It's super warm and cozy because it is 2 strands of fingering weight yarn held double, which if you're not familiar with knitting, it is basically, let me grab that sock back out, 2 of these strands held together. And to get this marled effect, I tried to pick balls that were slightly different sizes, so I would run out of one before the other, and then I would add the next yarn, and then that kind of created that like blending effect. So I love this. So I'm saving up some more scraps to make another sweater like this in the future. This would also make an amazing blanket. So maybe I'll make a blanket because the weight of this is just fantastic. Those are the things that I finished. Technically, they were done before January, but I did the finishing touches on them in January. If you watched my previous video, you saw works in progress. Some of them are active that I've been proactively working on. Many of the whips in that pile are kind of on hold for the moment. So I'm trying to work through things. One of the things that I started in January was my muscle burrow hat. So here it is so far. This marker here is about where I was, little bats. This is about where I was when I showed it before. So I have made a little bit of progress on this. I'm holding a skein of Alba and a silky mohair. I'm holding these together, and yeah, on a 4 on the main section of the hat. So I'm gonna move this progress keeper. I love these stitch stoppers. I have so many of them. I will link those as well. There's my muscle burrow. This is just kind of one of my travel projects right now that I work on when I'm out of the house, just because it's small and portable and it's stockinette in the round. Super easy. The next active project that I have, which I was really hoping to have done in January. I really wanted to have it done, but alas, it's not. However, I have made a big chunk of progress since the last time this sweater was shown. This is my second Av sweatshirt, and you can see right here is my progress keeper on the body. So I finished the rest of the body. I did the collar, and I have the beginnings of a sleeve. So this obviously needs another sleeve, but once I finish this sleeve, all I have left is one. So getting this done in February is pretty realistic because of my stitch markers, kind of just counting my rows. This one I have the first coffee stitch stoppers, and we are going to move my coffee bean progress keeper to my sleeve. If it is not a weekly update finished project, it will definitely be at the end of February. So yeah, there is my second Av sweatshirt progress. Little baby sleeve, its collar's done, main body's done. And this is on Emma's Simply Spectacular DK in the color Calypso, and it is absolutely gorgeous. The drape on this is amazing. I love that so much. I think this project might go into my heart bag. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, that is all for the active projects that I have right now, that I have visible progress to show anyway. We're quickly gonna do 2 things I plan on casting on in the month of February. I also didn't grab it, but I want to work on my Peace and Happiness shawl because I think that'd be really fun to wear this time of year. So I want to get that done. That is probably going to go in the rotation once I finish my muscle burrow. But the other things that I want to make is from this yarn that I frogged. I told my husband I would make him a hat, so I want to use this Barocco Ultra Wool in this beautiful like wine red color, and I plan on making him a hat. So that will be something I cast on in February. I have a couple patterns that I'm working through. I have a couple patterns to choose from, so we'll cast that on. And then finally, the last thing that I want to cast on, which I picked this yarn, which is the same yarn that I used in that Rappuccino, and I have a pair of socks made out of that as well, is a pair of little baby booties. Baby girl has outgrown hers, so I want to knit her a pair of little socks to wear when we go out of the house. But I realized after I picked this yarn that pattern is written for DK. I have some other DK scraps that I can use, and maybe I'll make them to match her little hat. But that is the other thing I plan on casting on in the month of February, is a hat for my husband and booties for my daughter. Because we have quite a bit of winter left in Michigan. My husband told me that apparently Groundhog Day, I don't really pay attention to that, but he told me that the shadow was seen, which means 6 more weeks of hard winter, so I guess I better get working on those knits. So anyway, thank you for watching. We'll see you hopefully in a week or so with an update on how these projects are going, and until then, happy making. I'm gonna go drink the rest of my coffee and get baby girl up from her nap. So